Greetings and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gage Averill, and I am the Provost and Vice President Academic at the University of British Columbia, Vancouver campus. Every year at Congregation, UBC has the honor of bestowing honorary degrees upon individuals who, in the opinion of the University Committee and the university community, embody the criteria of excellence and eminence in their chosen field. Rosemary Elizabeth Ommer is one of those individuals, and I invite her to come forward to receive her honorary degree. Mr. Vice Chancellor, Professor Rosemary Elizabeth Ommer. Rosemary Elizabeth Ommer is an eminent scholar, mentor, and advisor with an international reputation for groundbreaking contributions across multiple fields and within key national and international agencies and research initiatives. An economic historian and geographer, she specializes in interdisciplinary, community-based research. During the first 3 decades of her career, she designed and led numerous groundbreaking research initiatives in the fields of social ecological systems, coastal communities, and informal economies, as well as the history of fisheries and environmental degradation. Her leadership has supported and inspired the work of countless researchers in the social and the natural sciences who have gone on to lead new major initiatives focused on similar themes. In the past decade, the focus of her academic work has shifted towards active mentoring of second-generation researchers working in diverse fields through her leadership roles on advisory committees for Canadian and international major grants and research programs. The substantial research programs that she has directed and her mentorship of hundreds of colleagues and students engaged in both her own research programs and those of other leading scholars have resulted in important new insights and collaborations that have helped to break down silos between natural, social, and health researchers and policymakers. Significantly, she has strong connections to UBC, nurtured through collaborative writing and research projects with students and faculty, and for chairing advisory committees for major research programs, including Ocean Canada at UBC. Mr. Vice Chancellor, in recognition of a lifetime of dedication and influential leadership across numerous fields of community-based research, I ask you to confer the degree of Doctor of Science honoris causa on Professor Rosemary Elizabeth Ommer.
By authority of the Senate of this university, I confer upon you, Rosemary Elizabeth Ommer, the title and degree, Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Congratulations.
Dr. Ommer. Congratulations. I'm going to make sure that it gives me great pleasure to now ask Dr. Ommer to say a few words.
Thank you very much. President Bacon, UBC members, today's graduates, guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the very great honor you have bestowed upon me today. Today's graduates, as you sit here to receive your UBC degree, it is also my great privilege to wholeheartedly congratulate you. Well done indeed. You should be very proud of yourself, and UBC will likewise be very proud of you. You are the bearers of significant knowledge. Let me tell you about how I earned the honor awarded me today. In 1992, the Northwest Atlantic groundfish stocks collapsed. The fishery closed, and more than 40,000 Atlantic Canadians were immediately out of work. There were several different explanations why, and I couldn't figure out which, if any, was right. And so I realized that really it was time for me to talk to natural scientists working in marine biology. That taught me that disciplines need to work with each other, that knowledge is always more bounded and contextualized than we usually realize. And that is why your next step will be to know the limits of the wisdom you now possess and to be open to exploring beyond their current boundaries. You need this because in whatever walks of life you choose, you will have to address the difficult, complex issues of the coming age, such as oceanic pollution and climate change. Your generation will need the strengths of many disciplines, approaches, and findings, along with Indigenous, settler, and traditional wisdoms to help you. You will also need to remember the wider geographical, social, cultural, ethical, and political worlds in which your current and future skills will be practiced. There is little hope that you will be able to improve matters for yourselves and others unless you can understand why things are done, under what constraints all policies, businesses, disciplines, and other structures function. In fisheries, for example, policymakers need to understand that by imposing this regulation on coastal communities, those communities will be forced to respond in that way, and that will in turn have impact on the marine ecosystem. Only with that understanding will managers possess a sufficiently complete data set from which to make wiser decisions and create regulations that will bring about healthy communities of fish and fishers. And that's very important. So, for far too long, marine biological science, social science, and marine management were at loggerheads, and it wasn't helpful. Now we're beginning, and I hope you will continue to work respectfully with others who know more or just differently than you do. That's interdisciplinary work at its best, and it's increasingly what's going to be needed in the future. We're also finally recognizing that Indigenous peoples know a great deal that we need to learn about. They possess wonderful environmental knowledge, for example, and local people know a great deal about their own communities. So all of these people will be able to help identify and then mitigate the many impacts of climate change and pollution that threaten their livelihoods. Of course, we need disciplines, but I worry that disciplinary rigidity might prevent emerging future scholars, business person, and policymakers like you are going to be, might prevent you from undertaking new, different, or interdisciplinary approaches to the problems you will face. If that happens, it will prevent institutions, academic and other, from recognizing and facilitating new approaches. More generally, until now there has been too little connection between various forms of knowledge, too little awareness of mistakes made and lessons learned, too little international comparison and learning, and far too little communication in accessible language of the knowledge that we possess. Raising awareness of new knowledge is vital. We urgently need to engage the public if we're ever going to achieve more effective ways of dealing with climate change and environmental crises. Life is full of uncertainties, but I hold to two fundamental premises. First of all, the importance of academic work being relevant for society, and secondly, the importance of not clinging to one approach when there is wisdom to be sought in other fields, knowledges, and disciplines. It is the search for relevance and curiosity about difficult, complex issues that will help us all in the future. For all of you, the challenge will be, as it always is, to remain aware of the context in which your research or other work operates, so that you can draw together for the future the wisdoms you uncover in your search for understanding. And that will move forward knowledge to create a better, wiser future world. Congratulations.